Hey, podcast listening people, Connor Doobie here. Welcome to B2B Mentors. Honored to have you. I appreciate your attention and super grateful for that. Do me a tiny favor. If you're seeing this video streaming live, make sure you share it, comment, and don't forget you can find the podcast on all of your favorite podcast apps. Just look up B2B Mentors. Please leave a 5-star review on iTunes so others can find the show too. We do a little bit of everything on the show, from solo shows, uploading talks that we do, as well as, of course, and my favorite, expert interviews. And I have a great guest for you today, an expert, an author, a real treat that I guarantee you're going to learn something from, and ideally take action. Depending on where you're at in your business, this is potentially a game changer for you. So without further ado, my friend, Martin Rowinski, who is currently CEO of an executive recruiting firm called Boardsi, leading the way for executives to connect with companies seeking executive talent for boards of directors and boards of advisors, and author of The Corporate Matchmaker, which is also available. By the way, go get the book. Okay, you can never read enough books, never learn from enough people. The book is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Martin's also been featured on Forbes, Entrepreneur, FastCompany, CEO Today, and Marquis Who's Who 2022 through 2023. I haven't heard that one before, so it's kind of interesting. But great to see you, brother. And I was excited to talk about this. And I've worked and networked with many advisors, board of directors, and you see a lot of them. Yeah. And it is like something a lot of startup founders don't think about at times or don't consider. And also people who have gone through it and been through the thick of it and, haven't considered even being an advisor or board of director. But with that, I'm going to give you a chance here to just take us back a little bit. And how the heck did you get this thing started? Like, where did this come from? Where did this idea come from?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually a selfish idea, I guess, is what sparked it. Done consulting for many, many years. Never had any piece of any equity, which obviously I've been part of companies that went public, from private to public. I didn't partake in the end result of getting anything from that, except for self-satisfaction that I was a part of it. So after my last consulting gig and just feeling a lot more confident, I felt like, you know what, I got to go out and find a startup or a mid-range company that I can make a difference at, like I have before, but this time do it as a, whether it's a board of directors member or as an advisor, and get some equity and have even bigger motivation to the exit. So I actually had a really hard time finding those opportunities. Probably what a lot of people do, go on LinkedIn and try to make connections, try to, shoot in the dark and see if anybody's looking. But outside of that, ask some friends and personal network, and just nothing was turning into nothing. And I was pretty blown away that there really wasn't anything out there that offers this opportunity. So got together with some of my past partners, and here we are.
It is kind of surprising. You think someone would have came up with the idea of matchmaking advisors at this point? What is the actual difference between a board and, board advisor, like an advisor, company advisor? Or is there really a difference? Are they interchangeable? Like, how would you define that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, it's different. I mean, you got board of directors who have actually legal authority, and they if anything happens with that company, they're held responsible. So they do have insurance for that to cover them. Usually they're involved in the corporate meetings, and of course they can fire the CEO. So there's a lot of responsibility as an actual board member. Versus advisor is exactly what that is, right? So they create a board of advisors. You can pull any expert in any field and just create that board and have great meetings. But at the end of the day, a board of advisors can only guide the CEO. Sure enough, you can't fire them. I mean, you might suggest it if you're ballsy enough. But you can't fire them or control the company. You're definitely just putting in your input. and helping it as almost like a mastermind. So a lot of difference, a lot more flexibility. I love working with advisors just because I think you get a lot more out of them. You get a lot of great ideas, especially if it's exactly what you outline you're seeking, and they have that experience and expertise that they're bringing to a table. They most likely have been there and done exactly what you're struggling with, so they can speed up the process. Instead of you going through the hurdles and mistakes and learning from your mistakes, which that's the best way to learn. But sometimes it's like, why waste a year learning that when you can tap into a network at a minimal equity giveaway, and have them speed that process up. And yeah, that's the best.
But why do that? Like, why not just hire a consultant, like in the case of what you were working before, versus giving up equity in your company? Why consider that, that approach?
Absolutely. So, I mean, of course, consultants are great. They can be pricey. There's going to be obviously money coming out of the company's pocket. So it really depends where the company's at and where they want to go. The other great thing about having a board of advisors is once the company is ready to go to the next level and you're looking for new board members, it's a great fishing pond to pull them out. You've already established a relationship with them. You've been working with them for a few years. You know exactly who they are, how they act, what they're going to do, and what they bring to a table. So why would you not look at your, board of advisors as the first place to pull them out and say, hey, we really need you to step up and be a board member. So I think it's a great way to kind of keep that niche. And consultants usually are not long-term committed. So they might sign a 6-month contract and maybe solve a problem and get out. But then what happens later, right? Do you rehire them for another 6 months, 3 months? So it's really about relationship and just building that bond. And ultimate goal of most companies have some kind of an exit.
More skin in the game in that case.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should every company have a board of directors, board of advisors? Every company out there?
Absolutely.
Obviously, I'm going to get a biased answer, but I mean, realistically, depending, no matter the industry, this should be an absolute thing. Whether startup or your established company looking to scale to the next level, everyone needs to have a board on board.
Absolutely. I mean, they do. Board of directors, it depends on, I guess you can say it depends on what kind of business it is. If it's a one-man person type of a business and that's all it's going to be forever, and that's what the person wants to do, just I don't want to say consulting, but that's funny. But
that is consulting.
Yeah, exactly. But if it is something they do online and they do some kind of sales through Amazon, pushing some product through a third party, and they don't want to grow much bigger than that, then yeah, you don't need anything. But if you're going to grow a company, if you're going to be growing to 50 employees, 100 employees, a lot of people haven't been there and done that. So yes, you can struggle, you can grow with it and see what happens, or you can again bring that experience and expertise and really do it right, and then you benefit from it at the end.
Say Boardsi doesn't exist, or I'm not even aware of it, or may not even utilize it. What would be my step-by-step roadmap to one, start looking at bringing board members in? And how do I do that effectively? How do I even know it's the right? Because I mean, you're getting married at that point to your board of advisors. Yeah. You may be working together for the next 10, 12, 20 years, depending on the bit, if you don't go through an exit or IPO or something like that.
Yeah. So it's funny that you put it that way, married. We actually, a lot of times we compare it, and the reason for my title book being Corporate Matchmaker is we do compare it a lot like matchmaking, love matchmaking, but this is corporate matchmaking. It's the same concept, right? You gotta, when you find your partner, we'll keep it neutral. You make sure certain things happen in your personal life, and you want to make sure that person has the same goals as you do, same mission and vision and values of life, or else you're going to most likely end up in divorce. You're going to at some point go through something where you're trying to get somewhere and your partner's like, no, that I disagree with that. And then you're going to have a fight that you didn't want to have. And that's a life changing event. And it's the same thing at a corporate level. We always say, whatever the company mission, vision, values are, the personal mission and vision values should align everything from the advisors to even the employees. If they don't, there's going to be conflicts.
And it's a benefit. You have someone outside, that's why consultants 100%. Are good, but with an advisor, they're more embedded, but almost like it's a benefit to have conflicting ideas. A lot of entrepreneurs are kind of in a vacuum. Wouldn't you agree with that? Like very much in their own, shit, so to say. They're just like so embedded and swimming in it that they can't see outside of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard, right? You get that tunnel vision of, you got this, you have this problem, if you want to call it a problem, but you got this something you got to break through and you're just stuck. And I mean, even if you don't have a board of advisors, even if you just talk to people, for example, in my life, whether it's personal things that I'm struggling with or even business things, I share everything with my wife. She knows everything about me ins and out, but I share everything. And sometimes she'll say something that I didn't even think about, even though she's not in the business, in that business, it's just an outside perspective. Now imagine that at a level where it's people that have been there, done that, and have the expertise, and they're like, oh, that's easy. Here's what you should do. You don't even think about that because you weren't thinking outside the box. You're just stuck in this box and stuck with this problem, and you just can't put yourself outside. I mean, look at Ford. Ford was he a smart man? Absolutely. I mean, look where he took the company. But for every decision, whether it was financial, whether it was engineering, he wasn't a finance genius. He wasn't an engineer genius, but he had all the right people in those places, and that's what he would tap into. So, I mean, it's been written over and over,
You must have read Think and Grow Rich at some point.
Exactly.
Have you watched the movie?
You know what? I don't think I have. Somebody else told me that, but I love the book so much, and it's like sitting there, like falling apart. It's been ripped through. So yeah, I love that book. And, there's many other books, but Napoleon Hill is one of my favorite authors, and Agmendino, and a few others. But, masterminds brought up so many times, and it's the same concept. That's really what a board of advisors is. It's people you tap into. And I'm on one board of a company, and that person was struggling, and here he is a year later, actually in the green and making money and being profitable. And it all came not from me, but from the board and the meetings that we've been having, and just kind of guiding him along. And it's beneficial. I've seen it myself.
Is there merit in do you also do masterminds? Because they're a little bit different structures. Some of those folks are they don't have equity in company, but should entrepreneurs be looking at masterminds and in addition
Absolutely.
to board members? Or
maybe that's where you start. I mean, there's a bunch of networks out there, like I'm not going to name them, but there's networks out there, CEO networks, where you're kind of getting together and talking to CEOs, and they're very beneficial. Might be a little costly to be part of the network, but still, it's a mastermind concept where you get together with other CEOs, and even those work out great. You might not be tapping into the right people, but you're tapping into other people in the business. And maybe it's not the same industry, maybe it's not the same issue, but there's relations there where, they might give you an idea that you might have to twist a little bit, change a little bit, but it's something that helps you out. So, the benefits of working with Boardsi is when we do the onboarding call with the business, we really go through details of what is it that they're trying to accomplish, where are they trying to go, what's their exit strategy. If people tell us, well, our exit strategy is to go public, of course, our first question is, well, do you have a CFO that has taken a company public? And most of them say no. So of course, that's going to be our first, you need that guy, So it's I think it's just more strategic and really puts people in place where it's not just a group of guys that can talk and hash things out. And again, it's great, but this is really driven to company growth.
Where have you found most companies are weak and in need? Is it finance side? Is it like a board member who's like very strong on the marketing side? Like, what have you seen? Where's the biggest weak point in companies that you've, recognized the last few years?
I don't know if there's really like one big one. I mean, we've seen everything from need of a CFO expertise, definitely marketing a lot. And I think marketing is a really interesting one because it's just over the last few years, it has changed so much. And it is just with technology, right? I mean, it's like the old fashioned of sending postcards or mailers or any of those things. Now it's all digital, I mean, even us, I'm like, I got people that handle that because I can't even keep up with it. I mean, TikTok, really?
Are you guys on TikTok?
I did try TikTok. Like, we're not on TikTok, but I did try like going on it. I just don't get it.
I could see Martin dancing on TikTok. You need board of advisor. I don't know, whatever. But
my daughter has some videos of me dancing. Yes, that is true.
That's hilarious. So have you guys, even yourself, like Boardsi, done a lot in digital to grow? And you've done am I mistaken? You've done some events too? Or
yeah. I've been invited to a few events. We actually haven't hosted one yet. That is in the talks. But yeah, I've been invited to a few events, online events, live events. What else have we done? Yeah, we're pretty big on LinkedIn. If you haven't heard of Boardsi, you're in dark ages. So yeah, we're out there, trying to promote and doing podcasts like this. I'm definitely open to interviews. Yeah.
Have Martin come speak to your mastermind group. Have Martin, on your podcast. Have him, and you write too, right? You write art. Yeah. So maybe like guest articles. A lot of value. I mean, this isn't this is something that's been limited to the elite, if that makes sense. I'm a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, and then maybe I have $1 billion valuation, and then I really look at bringing in board of advisors. But the concept of more companies, no matter where you're at, bringing in advisors, more partners, and also those who maybe have never considered being an advisor, jumping into that realm. This is kind of newer stuff. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. It's become a lot bigger. I think people, owners of companies, I think, are realizing how much power there is behind it. And especially when it comes to raising money. I mean, we were just talking about that earlier, right? It's definitely who you know and how you can connect with those people and get help. And if you look at any, there's companies out there, that charge money up front for helping you put the deck together to tap you into their little network that they have. And then, once they quote unquote prepare you for pitching it, then they pitch it to their network of VCs. Or even if you go straight to a VC, what's the first thing after they write a check to you? They put people on the board because they want to be able to control it. So, and we work with VCs. VCs come to us and they're like, hey, we're going to fund this company. We're going to put one board member on there, but we really want to put two more. But we want to make sure that these two are going to be having these skills and this experience just to really push this company to the next level because our money's in it now. So, we get to talk to at all stages of companies, and not just directly with the companies, but sometimes even from the companies that are putting money in.
I think it's a genius concept you came up with. It really is. Briefly, I don't want to divert too much, but I think this is pretty important. You came from a communist country and immigrated here. How old were you when you came to the States?
I was 10 when I got into United States.
From where?
From Poland. I was raised in Warsaw.
Or
as we say, at Warszawa.
And your family, what led you guys to come into the States?
So my sister left when she was 18. So I was 7 years old. So for 2.5 years, she was living in Italy at that time. And right at about 9, the education, like in my school, I started learning Russian, or actually I left right before that happened. But I got in an argument with my teacher. I didn't want to learn it. Polish, believe me, Polish is actually a really hard language. And I was struggling, even though I'm from Poland, born and raised there. but trying to keep up is just tough language. And now all of a sudden they're throwing, Russian at me, which the alphabet is totally different. I freaked out, and I'm like, I don't want to learn this. And of course, because, Poland was under the Russian control, they wanted everybody to speak Russian as well. My sister did. So my mom, shortly after that, realized that I would probably be, I don't want to say a rebel, but definitely stand against communism. And at that time, the adults that were standing up against communism, a lot of them would end up dead in the ditch or never found. So my mom was a little bit worried. So she started coming up with ideas how to get out. And our out was through Italy. So we went to visit my sister, went to the U.S. Embassy and applied to get out and come over here, and finally did.
And then did you just start working young, early on? Were you starting businesses?
Yeah, I started pretty young. So moved here at 10. Of course, I had to learn the language. I didn't speak any English. Unlike right now in Poland, there's people there that are just fluent in English. They thrive in it. Actually, I was there visiting 9 years ago, and I remember I was ordering coffee in Polish. And, I have a hard accent. I haven't really spoken it that much. But so I'm trying to order coffee in Polish, and my wife's next to me. And the girl in English says back to me, "You can order in English." And I'm like, "Don't take this away from me. I can order in English in America."
I've been waiting for this moment. Yeah. Is your wife Polish also?
She's not.
Okay. So walk us through that a little bit, diving in. You started entrepreneur. Did your parents end up being entrepreneurs? Or?
No. So my dad actually stayed back in Poland. He did not move. My mom and me just came over here. One of my mom's sister was already here with her son. So my mom ended up getting remarried to a Polish guy, but he's been here for a long time. He's actually a World War II survivor. He was in a camp. So it's pretty mind-blowing story. It was a great step that, and my mom, he passed away shortly after, and my mom passed away a couple years ago. So out here, just me. But yeah, I started as far as entrepreneurship at about 15. By 16, I had a graphics company, and we were designing, I just mentioned it earlier, postcards, business cards, the old school stuff. But that was ages ago. That was what was in.
I think that stuff works probably better now, because who gets like, if it looks good, like a lumpy package or postcard.
It depends what you're sending. Yeah. They have those video ones now. Have you seen those?
Yeah, like booklets almost.
TV.
Yeah, those are crazy.
Yeah. So, so I did some graphic design. We did that for about a year, made a few bucks, ended up getting a job, hated it, left the job, went back to trying something else. So I was always like in and out through my young age. And then in college, I had a great opportunity. I was actually doing, so I went full-time college. I didn't have a scholarship or anything. So I was working full-time also in the evenings usually. I did telemarketing, which was kind of funny because I know I still have an accent right now. I don't know why I can't shake it, but I'm good with it now. In middle school in America, I was torn up. They talk about bullying.
Come on, you just keep it because it makes you distinguished and like cooler to talk to.
I wish I could say that. It is not a choice. I used to say it's because of my mom, because I would talk to her in Polish all the time. But like I said, she passed away 2 years ago, and I'm still here. So.
And can you speak other languages?
Just Polish. I did Italian. I did learn Italian, but I forgot it pretty quickly as soon as I got into States, because I was so focused on learning English, and I didn't speak Italian to anybody. But it's still, when I got home, I would speak Polish to my mom. So, that's just English and Polish. But so I had this great opportunity. I was doing telemarketing. I actually became one of the better telemarketers, even though I had a harsh accent. I used it as an icebreaker, which was awesome. So
I think it helps, Yeah,
I think it did. So I used it to my advantage. And then they knew that I was studying MIS, so Management Information Systems, or CIS, I guess, Computer Information Systems. My position ended up being MIS, but they upgraded from just doing, telemarketing through a telephone to buying the whole, dialer or whatever, predictive dialers, what they called it back then. And the two owners that were there, they weren't really tech savvy. So they got me out of telemarketing and offered me this full-time position. And the timing was perfect with my college and taking on that position and flying out to learn the system out in Connecticut. So I didn't own the company. I wish I had some stock in it. I had no ownership, but it was an awesome experience because I literally saw the company grow. It was my first time where I was involved hands in, but they really, the two owners just really let me be, if you want to say it. So I felt like I had ownership. I could do, come in and out as I pleased, as long as I got my job done. So it really gave me that freedom and really made me feel good. So when I moved on from that, it was a good experience, which after that, I did end up branching out and staying in the tech industry, but helping other companies. That was like first time I became hands-on consulting, where I would help companies create their marketing departments, stay with them for about 3 to 6 months, and then leave.
Yeah, like you were in that intrapreneurial position, which kind of a point out of that too is like, if you can get other people in your company in that position, I think some of the fastest growing companies really do develop employees probably the way that you did.
Yeah.
In that intrapreneurial type role.
Yep. I think that's the best way. You're really gonna, if you can trust that person and just be there for them and empower them, I mean, that's the best way to have an employee.
And then here we are, fast forward to 2022, and you never know, Martin ended up as Mickey Mouse, and for those of you listening, like the camera, I've been waiting forever to launch that joke, by the way, and the camera's scrunched and he's got paintings behind him, but now there's two circles. So you got Mickey Mouse ears. So now Martin, as CEO of Disney, what's next, man? Like, board of Disney. Oh, I liked it. I was entertained.
That's better.
There you go. That's even better. So back to like, and I didn't mean, those of you listening, like I wanted to kind of go through that journey because, it's just, we're in a very interesting time in America, and as a business owner and operator and entrepreneur, but, Martin, coming from his background, it's like, there's so much opportunity to just build the life of your dreams and all the opportunities out there, but you've got to take action and you've got to ask for help and you've got to surround yourself with the right people, and anything's endless. You can go from making $10 an hour to $1 million a year, just by surrounding yourself with the right people.
Absolutely. You have to have and I did an interview a while ago, or it might've been an article I wrote. Now I can't remember, too many things, but I think it was an article actually talking about mentorship. And I was asked that question, who was your mentor? And I really didn't have one. I mean, I look at my mom as a hero, single mom taking me across the world. And it's pretty ambitious. But, as a mentor, I wouldn't say she was my mentor. She knew nothing about entrepreneurship. So I really didn't have a specific one person mentor, two people. I really had nothing. I found mentorship in books, like we were talking about a second ago, and that's really where I found it. So, so I joke and say, yeah, Napoleon Hill was my mentor. And people are like, what do you mean? You're not old enough. How did that happen? I said, oh, no, the book. I mean, whenever I question something, I go in there and I read it. He left it for me. So, that's the way I look at it. There's plenty of education out there where, people complain that they can't find the motivation, or, if you're asking for motivation, that's the wrong question. That's got to come from you. Don't ask that question. Can you motivate me tomorrow morning? No. Yeah, you're done. So yeah, I definitely found mentorship in books and educated myself through that. And, which led to all the other great things. And, yeah.
So you also work in pivoting here before we wrap up. I definitely want to touch on this. And now the abundance and growing of professionals who want to be board of directors, advisors for companies. Again, endless opportunities. But what are some of the mistakes, or maybe how am I trying to phrase this? Like, what's the wrong approach to looking at becoming an advisor, and what are people doing wrong in terms of, like, wanting to be in an advisory role?
Sure. First of all, really make a decision that that's what you want to do. And if you're already retired, or you were an entrepreneur and you had a great exit and you're, a billionaire or even millionaire, so you're not really financially in need. But if you're working full time, and that includes, we know what those positions, any CXO position full time is not 40 hours. We all know that. So just make sure that, one, you have the time dedicated, because whether you're a board member or an advisor, it does take time, unless you want to be an ineffective board member. But to be an effective board member, and that's what companies are looking for, is effective board members, people that will make a difference. It does take time. So first of all, have that time available, and make sure you're available to make changes and be the leader in the company that they're looking for. I would say that's the most important part. If you're not a big name like, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, or, they don't need a LinkedIn profile. They don't need anything. We all know who they are. We all know what they have done. But there's a lot of great entrepreneurs and CEOs, CXO, any CXO C-suite. There's a lot of great ones out there, but a lot of them haven't done any branding. We come across executives and their LinkedIn's like, some of them don't even have a picture. I'm like, show yourself, be available, make sure everything's filled out, or your success, your skills, your bio, even though it's a short bio, put it in there. Have you published anything, any articles? My LinkedIn's a pretty good example. It's up to date all the time. If a new article publishes, I update it. Everything's under. You want to know anything about me, go to my LinkedIn. But a lot of executives don't do that. And then outside of that, what are you doing to stand out and brand yourself, besides LinkedIn? And then lastly, what are you doing that's positive, and what are you doing that's negative on any other social media? Are you posting up pictures that, because the reason I'm mentioning this is, if you don't think that a CEO that's recruiting board members is going to do research on you, then you're kidding yourself. We all know we Google everybody. It's easy to find information. Google a name, go to social media, check on people. And, if you're constantly posting something on Facebook about politics and your point of view, which I'm not saying don't do it, but just make sure you truly believe in it and are behind it, because what if the other people that are looking for that, are on the other side of the fence? So, and it doesn't have to be politics. It can be anything,
Or a client even that wants to work with the company, and you might have a multi-million-dollar contract on the line, and they go and look at your board members, and they've got,
parting pictures,
goofy shit on their socials.
It's being held upside down on a keg. Yeah. So again, all those little
Which
things.
Martin has those pictures, by the way.
Know.
I guarantee we have them. They're just not public.
Yes, they're not public. So it's okay to take them. It's okay to have fun. I'm not saying don't have fun. We're all humans, right? But yeah, just be careful what you put up. And branding, right? Branding is the key, because people will do research on you. They will look you up. What have you done? Are you an expert in your field? How to show you're expert? Show authority. Do you have any articles you've written? And it's not, yes, I'm proud of myself. I'm, posting on Forbes and Entrepreneur on a monthly basis, FastCompany, but it doesn't have to be, and it's difficult to get there, but it doesn't have to be like that. LinkedIn offers publishing services, and it's a great start. Start publishing articles on LinkedIn. I mean, there's so many other ways you can get out there. I mean, blogs are available. That's not a bad way to start either. It's just a matter of getting out there and publishing content to show your expertise in the field, industry, whatever it is that you are great at, display it and show it to everybody.
And build that know, like, and trust. I've met many number of, like, they're retired, they're bored out of their skull, they're, they've exited multiple companies, they're billionaires, millionaires, and they, could easily be great and very powerful board of advisors, but they've done nothing they don't even have social media profiles.
Yep.
And the value might be there and you might be interested in the company, but is that company going to take you on? And that's going to be missed opportunity because you didn't build your brand.
Exactly. Personal brand is important. I mean, even somebody once asked me, is personal brand more important than company brand? And now, perfect example is like, you look at Bill Gates followers and you look at Microsoft followers. I can tell you who's got more. It's not Microsoft.
Look at Elon, look at,
Yep.
The list goes on and on. So Martin, before we wrap up here, anything else just top of mind that is actionable, strategic, high level, something that you'd like to share with everybody before we wrap up here?
I would say the only other thing on top of branding is education. None of us are ever too old to educate. I mean, I live by, I'm going to learn until I die. It's just, our brain is a sponge and it should never dry out. So education is very important. Certification is very important. We have one course on our website that we put together with one of our advisors. Well, he put together, took him a year to do it. It's a great certification course. It talks about branding, talks about board documents and how to prepare them so you look good prior to your interview. And then, but we're putting together some other courses that are a little bit more basic, but it's great intro courses. They're going to be part of our membership. And I think that and getting certification, showing that you're prepared to be on a board, I think is also very important on top of branding. There was one more thing I was going to say, but now it's slipped my mind. So yeah, that's it.
It'll come back. It'll come
eventually.
We're going to hang up and you're going to remember right away.
Yes.
I know it's going to happen. Martin, I appreciate you, man. It's been so fun connecting with you, and I'm glad that I could be your favorite podcast interview that you've ever done before.
Absolutely.
So I'm honored that you would endow me with that title. And, aside from that, what is the best way for people to find you, follow you, and get into contact with you?
Best way is on LinkedIn for sure. It's funny, actually, you just brought something up. I just had somebody called into our, or somebody had a call with one of our account executives, and he claimed he was upset that I didn't reach back out to him on LinkedIn, that he sent me a message. I literally was like, what? That's so weird. The longest I've ever not replied to somebody on LinkedIn is a weekend because I might be away on a vacation, but I literally replied to everybody. And everybody in my company is like, how do you do it? Because you should see my inbox. It's ridiculous. But sure. I dedicate 1 hour every day just to go in there, take a look at it and reply. Even if it's a thank you or this is who you should contact. Because I get asked the craziest questions. But yeah, so I reply to everybody. So I was actually shocked. I don't know, maybe he messaged somebody else. I did find a fake Martin profile out there. So it's not me. So hopefully that's not where he sent his message.
That's how you know you've made it. You've got people imitating you. You've made it to the top.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's my book publisher is the one that brought that to my attention. She goes, which profile is yours? I'm like, what do you mean? I only have one profile. She goes, no, you have two.
Crazy. Like, so LinkedIn, of course, check out boardsi.com if, whether you're a company looking for board of advisors or you're interested in being a board of advisor. And, I'm grateful for you. Like, you did make yourself accessible. And I literally reached out to Martin on LinkedIn.
Thank you.
said, hey, we've got this podcast. I've heard about you. Love to have you. And he responded to me pretty quickly. And, now we've built a relationship and everything. And, you never know where relationships go, but it is the most important thing that you can build, no matter what you're trying to do. Business,
Absolutely.
life, career, all that.
Yeah. And you said you're coming out to Vegas, right?
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, I haven't been, but for you, I'm coming out there.
Let's go.
When are we doing it? When are we got a conference? We've got,
Do you need an excuse?
Just for the heck of it. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll start driving out there here soon, but we'll come out to Vegas. We'll come see you, and it'll be a good first time. Cause I've never been drawn to Vegas, but,
if you were hanging out where I'm at in Vegas, you wouldn't even think you're in Vegas. So it's all good.
Really? Okay.
We do this show live.
Oh, good. Oh, perfect. I'm down. We'll get good food. We'll, have a couple, I don't know, tequila or wine or whatever. What's that?
I got lots of wine. I got a whole wine cellar.
My man, I appreciate you. Martin, thank you so much, man. Let you hop here. Stick around for one quick second while we wrap up, and then we'll wrap up here. And for the rest of you, man, guys, please do me a tiny favor, if not even for you, for somebody else, share this episode. Make sure you send me a message. Make sure you connect with Martin. Go get his book. Go check out boardsi.com. And if you want to get around high-level business operators, marketers, leaders, entrepreneurs that you can mastermind on your marketing, your business, I do it for free. activeblogs.com/live event. Come in, meet folks. We're doing our next session next Thursday. You can come in, build relationships, get your biggest problems solved with other people. Much love to you, my friends. Make it great, and I'll see you on the other side.